El Hijo del Perro Aguayo is one of the most important and impactful figures in modern Lucha Libre. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at his debut and early career in TripleA from 1995 to 2003. We're going to be going through a few of my favorite matches from this time in Perrito Aguayo's career. And please note, this isn't a full comprehensive look at his entire career, but rather some matches that I really enjoyed and why I enjoyed them, and why you should watch them. Originally, the scope of this video was going to be much larger, with us taking a look at every phase of Perrito Aguayo's career from TripleA to CMLL to his own promotion and back to TripleA. However, the scope of this proved to be just a little too big for me, so instead, we're going to be breaking these down. And this video will focus mainly on his early career with TripleA. In the future, you'll see more parts released for this video series, and maybe towards the end, we'll release them all in one big video as well. But for now, first up, we have to talk about his debut in TripleA. On April 30th, 1995, the team of Juventud Guerrera, Fuerza Guerrera, and Psicosis faced off against El Hijo del Santo, Octagon, and Rey Mysterio Jr. in a match for 3 different singles titles: the WWA World Welter and Lightweight, and the IWC World Middleweight title were on the line. Already this is pretty interesting because I've not seen a whole lot of trios matches where the singles titles were on the line. Anyways, seconding the Técnico team was a very young Hijo del Perro Aguayo. Los Rudos win after some help from their second, El Santo Negro, and after the match, El Hijo del Perro Aguayo starts having some issues with Juventud Guerrera. A brawl ensues and then you hear it. La Marcha de Zacatecas. It's El Perro Aguayo! He's come to help his son, and the crowd is going crazy. Flash forward to June 18th, 1995 for Perrito Aguayo's first actual match, debuting for TripleA at Triplemania 3C in front of nearly 20,000 people in El Auditorio Rio Nilo. El Hijo del Perro Aguayo's first opponent was Juventud Guerrera in an Olympic wrestling rules match. This is shot on a hand cam from someone in the crowd, but they capture the action pretty well. Both men are wearing wrestling singlets to really drive home that this is an Olympic-style match, and I really like the commitment to the stipulation. It's not a shoot, but it's almost all mat-based and really serves as a good showcase for El Hijo del Perro Aguayo. I also really love the interference spots by Juvi and his dad as well. El Hijo del Perro Aguayo would win one of his first masks on December 3rd, 1995 in front of 15,000 people in El Toreo de Cuatro Caminos. The match started as Relevos Suicidas with the losing team facing off in an apuestas. Rey Mysterio Jr. and Juventud Guerrera escaped having an apuestas here, and instead it fell on El Perrito Aguayo and El Picudo. The opposing team turns into the seconds here with Rey Jr. backing up Perrito and Juvi backing up El Picudo. And a lot of this match is Perrito getting beat up and fighting from the bottom with El Picudo firmly in control. The singles portion isn't super long, but it was very enjoyable seeing Perrito mount that comeback. Next, I want to talk about a star-studded Relevos Atómicos main event with El Perro Aguayo Sr., Jr., Conan, and Rey Mysterio Jr. facing off against Cien Caras, Heavy Metal, Juventud Guerrera, and Pierrot in El Gimnasio Juan de la Barrera in Mexico City on August 17, 1996. Rey Jr. is actually wearing his iconic Spider-Man gear for this one, and he almost gets gorilla pressed out of the ring by Pierrot at the very start of this thing. There's an awesome moment in this where Perro Sr. and Cien Caras are facing off, and then Cien Caras asks for Perrito to get in the ring. Of course, Cien Caras gets the upper hand in their exchange until Perrito is able to get some hits in and get some help from his father. It's a very feel-good moment. The match is as expected with these 8 names, very good. Perrito and his dad have really good teamwork in this, and the pairing of Rey Jr. and Conan produces some incredible highlights for this match as well. This main also ends in only 2 falls. However, it is still really good. October 6, 1996 in Fresnillo, Zacatecas, El Hijo del Perro Aguayo, Venom, Luxor, and Venus took on El Hijo del Espectro, Ice Killer, Garis la Momia, and Mosco de la Merced. Just 5 minutes into this, Perrito and Luxor hit some really great stereo topes. There's a lot of very chaotic moments in this match as well, with some good brawling on the outside. It's a very high energy match, and it peaks with a really fun dive train towards the very end of the match. March 7th, 1997, Perro Aguayo Jr. and Sr. team up to battle Pierrot Jr. and Mosco de la Merced in a cage match in Arena Nesa. One takeaway you should have from this video by the time it's over is just how good of a father-son relationship Perro Jr. and Sr. had. It honestly brings a tear to my eye and makes me think this is the best father-son wrestling duo maybe ever. Anyways, this match is a lot of violence and starts with Perrito being singled out outside of the cage and taken out of the match for a while until he makes a triumphant return to save his father. 1997 saw Perrito Aguayo win his first hair in TripleA. On September 14, 1997, at Verano de Escándalo, Perro Aguayo Jr. was locked in a cage with Perro Sr., El Cobarde, Heavy Metal, El Picudo, and Sangre Chicana, where the last man in would lose his hair. The técnicos in this were Perros Jr. and Sr. and Heavy Metal, and los rudos were Cobarde, Sangre Chicana, and El Picudo. There's a lot of moving parts in this match with a ton of classic brawling, and there's also some great brawling outside of the cage with Sangre Chicana and El Perro Aguayo Sr. Towards the end of this match, there are 3 people left in the cage. Perro Jr. for the técnicos and Cobarde and Picudo for the rudos. There's an awesome moment where Perro Jr. has started bleeding and the numbers are too much, and it pays off so well with Perrito unleashing a beating on El Cobarde. Both perros end up standing tall as they beat on Cobarde in the post-match, and it was awesome. El Hijo del Perro Aguayo's first taste of championship gold came on June 7, 1998, teaming with his dad, Perro Sr., against Fuerza Guerrera and El Mosco de la Merced in Chihuahua, Chihuahua. Fuerza Guerrera and Mosco de la Merced originally won these belts in the finals of a tag team tournament in 1997, and the team they beat was Perro Aguayo Jr. and Sr. Also, funny enough, Mosco de la Merced 1 was the one who won the belts with Fuerza Guerrera, but he jumped to Promo Azteca, and Mosco de la Merced 2 would be the one to defend the belts with Fuerza Guerrera. I really loved the teamwork from Los Aguayo at the end of the second fall, and seeing them become the Mexican National Tag Team Champions together was really heartwarming. I don't think this match had the best finish, but the result was still very nice. On February 5th, 1999, Perrito Aguayo challenged for the Mexican National Middleweight Championship against Espectro Jr. The crowd for this match was very firmly behind Perrito and very loud. This is a very grounded match, lots of ras de lona, lots of simple but good looking and effective maneuvers. There's many creative arm drag setups, hip tosses, elbow drops, suplexes. It's just some classic pro wrestling, some classic Lucha Libre. You don't always have to revolutionize and disrupt. Sometimes you can just do what works really well and keep the crowd energized and engaged. That being said, the few high spots where Perrito has to fly look real good. Perrito gets overwhelmed by Espectro and his second Picudo in the post-match, and we get Perro Aguayo Sr. running in a suit. It's good stuff. Speaking of El Perro Aguayo Sr., he and Jr. would defend the Mexican National Tag Belts against Cobarde and Cobarde Jr. on March 1st, 1999 in Nuevo Laredo, Tamaulipas. Cobarde Sr., which I believe is actually Cobarde 2, was less than a month removed from beating Perro Sr. for the Mexican National Heavyweight Championship, also in Nuevo Laredo. Here he would try to take the tag belts from both perros and would not be as successful. It's a good match of fathers and sons, a tried and true formula. Plus, it's cool seeing the old gen and the new gen of that time teaming up like this. There's a lot of moments that I really like in this match, such as El Perro Aguayo Sr. demolishing El Cobarde with a tope and El Perro Aguayo Jr. crushing Cobarde Jr. with his silla. And Perro Aguayo Sr. gets eliminated first in this match, but it makes for a great comeback from El Hijo del Perro Aguayo. I really recommend watching this one. By 2000, El Hijo del Perro Aguayo had won 4 luchas de apuestas in TripleA already, twice against El Picudo and twice against El Cobarde. His next victim would be El Tejano, who in the months prior to May 19th, 2000 had been going after El Hijo del Perro Aguayo. I wish I could say I watched some of that build, but the YouTube channel, who had the matches leading up to this apuestas, has been deleted. Such pain is normal in the life of a fan who wants to watch old Lucha Libre. Anyways, Perrito turned his eyes on another veteran of Lucha Libre who had done just about everything and been in maybe the most important trio ever, Los Misioneros de la Muerte. El Tejano walked into El Auditorio de Tijuana with Pirata Morgan as his second, and in some very stylish gear. The story being pushed was El Tejano was the experienced vet, un consagrado de la lucha libre, facing off against the next generation of TripleA, and someone who had dubbed himself El Terror de los Consagrados, El Hijo del Perro Aguayo. Tejano takes the lead early, using a mysterious powder to secure the first fall and showing his years of experience by pulling off such an underhanded maneuver. Tejano also introduces a fork into this bout in the second fall, but turnabout is in fact fair play in Lucha Libre, and Perrito ends up taking and utilizing this fork. Both men are bleeding going into the third fall, and it is a fantastic third fall. The finishing sequence is so good, you should watch this match just for that alone. The rest is just a bonus. Overall, just a great match. Big thumbs up. Another of Perrito's big feuds went from the year 2000 through 2001, and it involved Latin Lover, Hector Garza, and Heavy Metal. These 4 would find themselves on opposite ends of the ring in various combinations. Tag matches, cage matches, 4-ways, one-on-ones, a little bit of everything. I think this rivalry probably deserves an entire video just to itself, so I'll only pull a couple of matches out of it for this video. Additionally, I need a little more context myself to be able to fully explain the entire story because I'm not exactly certain on how the lines were drawn for this rivalry. I know Perrito and Hector Garza won the Mexican national tag belts together, but I don't know what happened to that pairing after they lost the belts to Los Vipers, and how they got tangled up with Heavy Metal and Latin Lover. I know that Perrito and Heavy Metal tagged with each other, and then Latin and Hector Garza teamed up, but I'm not sure how these teams came about. The 4 had matches at major TripleA events, such as the main event at Verano de Escándalo in 2000, the main event at Guerra de Titanes 2000, and they had a big match at Triplemania 9 in 2001. Of all these matches, the 2 I like to talk about the most in this video are between Hector Garza and Perro Aguayo Jr. And these weren't just normal singles matches either. These were a bit more extreme. On July 6, 2001 in Veracruz, and September 16, 2001 in El Toreo, Hector Garza and Hijo del Perro Aguayo would find themselves opponents in 2 different street fights. And I'm recommending both of these matches because they're both pretty sick. Both matches are really good brawls with weapons, brawling in the crowd, and blood, so if you like that, you'll probably really like this. The second match at Verano de Escándalo on September 17th had a post-match apuestas challenge from Garza towards Perrito, Latin Lover, and Heavy Metal. And then at Guerra de Titanes on November 23rd, 2001, El Perrito Aguayo found himself in that 4-way hair match. The way this match worked, the first 2 to score a pinfall or submission were out of the match, so the remaining 2 would have their hair at stake. The final 2 remaining are Hector Garza and Heavy Metal, and although El Hijo del Perro Aguayo doesn't factor into the finish, I still think this match is definitely worth watching. The last match we'll cover from this run happened in 2002, and while there are a couple of matches available from 2003, I don't think I could end this video with anything better than this one. Of course, this is another hair match. This one saw Perrito Aguayo in a 4-way apuestas against El Dandy, El Zorro, and Electroshock. Funny enough, Latin Lover is Perrito's second here. Their issues from the past few years must have been water under the bridge by this point. The Dandy and Perrito matchup gets the people going crazy, and their work together is very good in this match. Dandy is seconded by Hector Garza, who takes shots at Perrito on the outside when in range. This match drew a very good attendance in El Toreo, 18,000 people, with this being the main event. It's TripleA, so we get weapons and of course some blood. And the way this match works, again, first two to score a pinfall are saved, the remaining two face off for their hair. Dandy gets himself disqualified after low blowing El Zorro, and then Lady Apache accidentally blasts Perrito in the head with a chair while trying to hit electroshock, which leads to Perrito getting pinned as well. The final two are El Dandy and a now bloody Hijo del Perro Aguayo. I love this last bit of the match, where Perrito seems completely spent and Dandy is just mocking and piecing him up. When Perrito finally gets a burst of offense and is seemingly about to put El Dandy away, Hector Garza interferes. Of course, Latin Lover steps in as well, and Perrito ends up hitting a great top rope lanza for the win. I really enjoyed this one, and I mean this one exceeded my expectations by a whole lot. Really solid match. Highly recommend this one. El Hijo del Perro Aguayo finishes up this first run with TripleA in 2003, and then of course jumps over to CMLL, a period of time and matches which will be covered in the next video. And just as a kind of warning for that one may actually be a little bit longer than this one, because that period of time with Perrito Aguayo in El Consejo, starting, Los Perros del Mal, all of that, that is one of my favorite, I think that is my favorite part of his career. I love seeing Perro Aguayo Jr. matches in CMLL, in Arena Mexico. To me, that's like my favorite part. So be on the lookout for that video. It is coming next in this series. It's the next one up. And thank you for watching. Again, this is the end of the video. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, please leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite match from El Hijo del Perro Aguayo in this first TripleA run is. Is it one of these matches? Is it something that I didn't talk about? Please let me know. I am very interested. Like I said, I think El Hijo del Perro Aguayo is one of the greats, and definitely taken too soon. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below, and until next time, I'll see you later.